Welcome back to Masters Tokyo. I'm standing by with HyperX's coach, When you and I spoke earlier, you said your main focus was to make sure that you don't do anything that looked like what you saw yesterday. What was the biggest difference between yesterday and this first map?
Honestly, I think the first half was quite terrible for us. I can't believe we came away with that. I think they just figured it out halfway through. You know, we as a team we kind of figured out halfway through what to do, and then we managed to push them back. And I don't know, I thought it was an amazing game. Very fortunate, I think, that we didn't let it run away from us.
I mean, it was a ferocious comeback, 8 rounds in a row, and then winning OT. Congratulations on one. Best of luck to you, Map 2. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Doug, and whoever that was. Really enjoyed that first half of the game. But yeah, welcome back to the desk. I've got Kakuka and Paper Thin here with me. I don't understand how, why, when this. Explain. You PaperX often.
Yes, I do PaperX, and they PaperX'd well.
Yeah.
This was a very PaperXing. No, look, they're better when they're not thinking. I hate to say it that way but it's true. Like, we've literally heard Alex tell them that to shut their brains off and they play better. And they just, when they're reacting, when they're kind of playing natural, when they're just playing with the confidence and aggression, like Jing blast packing up onto that box, Forsaken just all over the map with that Neon. This is the PaperX you want to see. And having CGRS on this breach roll also isn't that big of a shift for them because something doesn't have nearly as much impact on that breach. He's more of a setup guy.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at our Verizon high-speed moment of the game. Honestly, it could have been like 55 moments, but Kakuka, I feel like this one summed it up.
Oh, this one is beautiful to get this 2 kills from Jing, just blast back in and just getting the perfect position. Also the stun coming in from Forsaken just in case someone was pushing. He could also go for those kills and maybe he could have given us a beautiful vertical flip, but it wasn't the case. Again, it could have been any round. I'm very happy that it's this one because we were highlighting at the beginning of this match how Jing was going to be so important, how everything how all of the players were going to be on their backs. We were talking about Forsaken, even on the Neon, he plays support for him. It's beautiful to see.
I mean, if you take a look at this, it's not just Jing. On that team, Forsaken's utility, the pathing, everything Paper Thin was just beautiful.
I am so tickled with the way they're playing right now. I mean, they're both just incredible players at their roles in very different ways. Jing, again, I think, for my money, the best Raze in the world right now, and I think you guys just saw why. He's all over the place. The only thing I'd say that he's lacking in is showstoppers. I mean, sometimes those showstoppers whiff. That's about the only thing I can really fault him for, but these two combined, like when they're both on Duelists, forget about it.
I mean, I also have to say that not only their performances were great, but after losing the bonus on that second half, I was like, well, this is it. EDG, it's got what it takes. This is going to be another hard loss for PaperX. We were talking about how important the mental is. Having that comeback makes him mentally automatically the winners of this match.
Especially since they could have closed it out before overtime, and then there was a whole other mental hurdle. But let's talk about map 2, because this is going to be a PaperX's map pick. Now, I'm going to be quite copium about it as we move on to the next map, because I'm going to preface this by saying, yes, over in China, what the opponents that EDG go up against might not be as developed or competitive compared to the other leagues, but it doesn't take away the fact that EDG have not lost on this map since 2021. In fact, the last time they lost in a Paper Thin, Kankan and nobody wasn't even on the roster.
Yeah, well, it should, in theory, be one of their most difficult tests on this map ever. And I'm kind of started thinking, like, we heard from Forsaken that CGRS was actually IGLing on Split last time. So likely to be the case here again. Now I'm kind of thinking, was he also IGLing on Fracture last time? Is CGRS actually just a pretty solid IGL? And, when you have to shift Forsaken over to those duelist roles, as we're kind of expecting here for Forsaken to go back to a duelist, is this kind of actually the formula right now for PaperX? Are these the maps where they have to lean into it like this?
And we were talking a lot about the double duelist, how we just saw it for PaperX. I feel like the way that these teams are very PaperX, the fact that we're going to see or expect to see a mirror composition since EDG changed their comp when they were playing the other day, I think that it's going to be insanely crazy to follow and very evened out.
I'm excited.
I'm sorry for the observers.
It's going to be really fun. I mean, after the first map, I feel like it's going to probably just get better. But also, I don't think we can count EDG out just because the way that they performed so far in this tournament, they have a really good chance to bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. And if we think about the split that they played against Team Liquid, they had very good ideas. It is true that they were not exactly thinking a lot about those mid rounds and how to execute with them, but actually they had very good ideas.
I mean, speaking of EDG, let's see what their coach after had to say ahead of map 2. He's standing by with Doug.
Thank you so much, Sue. I'm standing by with EDG's coach after, and of course our translator Iris, who's going to allow us to pick his brain a little bit. Despite Kong's outrageous performance, you guys still managed to fall in Map 1 after a ferocious comeback by PRX. What's the key for Map 2 here to get back into the series?
尽管说第一张图其实康康有非常出色的一个发挥，但是还是没有能够阻挡住对手的一个非常猛烈的一个反扑和进攻。所以想问一下，你们觉得第二张图的一个关键是什么呢？
主要是我们在进攻端的时候，我们有点落入到他们的快节奏里面了，导致于我们在控图这一块的基础就没有做好，所以下一张图我们会把这件事情给弥补好。
I think when we're on the attack side, we didn't really focus on the map control and a little bit issues on that. So the key to our map 2 definitely to fix the problems of our, especially not to follow the frantic pace of the opponent like map 1. So this is a very important thing that we need to do on map 2.
Hopefully it's able to pull off and you guys take us to Map 3. Best of luck to you in that map. Back to you, Sue.
Thank you, Doug. That's such good insight. You know, after saying we should not be playing into the frantic pace of PRX, because you do fall into that trap. But as we head into the Prime Gaming Agent Select, I just want to say that this is the first time in this entire tournament we could potentially see a double duelist versus double duelist. We are going to get it. And the last time we saw it was that lock-in in the grand finals. And Kakuka, I can't think of two better teams to do double duelist head-to-head than these two.
And again, the same interpretation of the map I think is going to come through. We see that EDG has decided to start on the attack on this play, probably because of that double duelist. Again, thinking about the way that they played against Liquid, I didn't mean to say mid-run, but actually mid-control, and it's something that has to happen and has to change here, especially when both of the teams are running the Viper. I'm looking also at Chichu when this comes onto the defense, and just keep them coming.
I'm really excited for this. I mean, I'm just hoping that I can prove that the curse is all on Achilles.
Oh, I love that paper thin. We'll find out shortly because we're going to head into Split now and toss this over to your casters, Bren and Sideshow.
Yeah, momentum entirely on the side here for PRX, and that string of rounds they managed to bring it all the way over the line in map number 1 here, our elimination game, fighting for a chance of survival on either side.
Yeah, and I really do think the mental battle massively in favor of PRX here. I don't want to be the armchair psychologist, but you're looking over at Kang, he's, you know, biting his fingers, heading into map 2.
Yeah.
You're listening to the coach talk about how they allowed themselves to fall into the frantic pace that PRX end up playing at. It's got to be controlled for EDG. And when I think back to their attack side versus Liquid, it was very, very slow in general. They threw in a couple of fast rounds, but they mostly grouped up, as they're doing here on the pistol, on A or B, and then just played slowly.
Seiken is eager to take a name off the list. And there we go, Kang down and out. Winning against the opposites here. Dash play forwards, Mindfreak seeking as well. Hold it down towards the choke point, but taken out, traded, so 3 for 3, but damage has been done. It's quite
dangerous.
Significant. Nade, yeah, that's going to be getting value. Line them up for him. 2 ripped away with Jing and Divai. Oh, they're feeling it. When you see the sheriffs coming out, the purchaser of Divai, you know that they've got confidence.
Absolutely. Forsaken too. Both of them ripping heads off and doing so much chip damage that Jing was able to drop into the site and get 2 with a nade and just a tag of a frenzy. Simple cleanup. And the first round going quickly for EDG. I'm sure we'll see some variety in pace over their attack side on Split. I'm very confident that their coach has already passed along that piece of feedback to them. But it's not a great start for this Chinese team that's been on a blinder of a run so far. 4 players up here in mid on this eco round, and just, oh, someone slipped through into mail actually as Divai controls that area.
Decay damage really kicking in the midst of all of that. There's a nade dropped down at the feet of Divai. Mindfreak's got to know that Chichu's cross, that's what he's holding for. Kang he's making a mockery of the game.
Way.
An absolute mockery, man.
Well, talk about bad starts. Instantly turned around unless Jing could pick up a 1v4.
Okay. Tactical shooter, very precise.
That's what this game is going to be a lot of, Brent. It's a double duelist mirror here. On Split, we've seen a few of them over in the Americas region, less elsewhere in the world. But they do, they can have a lot of fast-paced rounds to them. This one is just bizarre, because Divai didn't even realize that Shishu had got himself into main. And then you get Kang jumping around like
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
bunny.
Yeah. just rolling them with the judge. Gifted him a gun there, makes the most of it.
That's a giggle from Divide, despite the fact that they've lost round 2 and completely crushed their economy.
So 1-1. Early days in the map.
And this is more what you saw the pace of EDG's attack side looking like against Liquid. Very slow contact plays behind the Viper utility over towards A. And often, actually, with even more people over there. Sometimes 4 or even 5 playing a slow round like that. This one is spread to make sure that they can collect PRX if they push mid or push B.
Crossover towards ramp. Good clearance there off the dog. Necessary info. It's forced the dash out of Forsaken. He's worried about a repeat attempt. They're going to be getting even more information. Where's Jing found that one?
That's ludicrous.
Did he just leap into the choke?
Yeah, that's absolutely ludicrous.
Okay, smokes fade. Reals Forsaken's positions. Everybody else now starting to walk to all of those angles. CGRS tries to calm down the Sheriff, but the shot's only one landing.
So EDG neutralized PRX in that round. Here we're gonna. I mean, this is the play that he makes. He goes for the knife.
Well, he did damage.
Yeah.
That's 75. Yeah, he did knife him.
Okay, great work, I suppose.
Incredible.
Coming into this next one, I really want to take a look at the tempo that EDG plays at and how quickly PRX are able to rotate. That, to me, that's the big issue between these two teams. If PRX is able to get the reads early on, it's going to help them massively on defense. And this is fast again from EDG.
So fast. I mean, the double satchel play with the pull. Enough to take male control. Forsaken takes a fight though. Smoke recalled in his face. Howdong set up for the fight. Wins it. Dog seeing CGRS. The stun did not connect. They were intending to use the nade for that location, but decide against it.
In the midst of all of this, Mindfreak is sneaking out through B main, challenging Howdong.
I mean, he's got the read on this. I mean, Howdong's just jiggle peeking it, expecting there to be the reclearance.
Very well played. This is an adjustment to how PRX like to play, how aggressive they are on defense. It's not a big, set, double duelist execute on the defensive side like we'd see sometimes on Fracture, but they're just two people, one after another, reclearing B main to try and grab that information back for PRX. And Howdong's ready for it. That's not just the Astra controlling B main as you'd expect, but that's also their IGL, right? That's the player that's going to be working with After to craft the game plans to potentially take down this squad.
PRX forced to save. Yeah, I mean, absolutely rent-free, isn't it, from Howdong, just being able to spot out those players and understanding the tendencies of PRX as a team, looking to try and re-clear moments like that when they're a player down. I will say, you know, when I was thinking about the stylistic matchup between these two teams, EDG were getting punished quite a bit by how slow they were playing their split attack side last time around against Liquid. But I think against PRX will always be trying to take the initiative on the defense side. Yeah. They're going to be handing a lot of those openings to EDG if they decide to play that really slowed down, crawled play style.
I think in general, the stylistic matchup does favor EDG. They're the kind of team that likes to slow the pace and punish any reaction that comes out of their opponents. It works beautifully well in China, where teams are a little more sloppy. But it certainly did not work on map 1. Like After was saying, they got dragged more into the frantic reactionary play instead of making sure they controlled every part of the map. It's more difficult, you could argue, on Fracture, though, with 4 entrances.
Knives online here for Forsaken. Late Storm. Bit of information gathered there. Skyflash through. Kang seems to lurk his way into mid, just can't quite get the aim. The rifle under control.
And you do not expect a Sky to be playing in that kind of position. Just a really odd off angle for CGRS to be on. And Kang was thinking it was completely open. So gets caught there, very unaware.
Dogs exchanged.
And we go back into the same kind of stuff. EDG, they don't like to take early map control on their attack side. It was a very odd game plan they were demonstrating in the game against Liquid, and they're doing it again here.
Off angle for Jing. Smoke in his face. Any Cosmic Divide, double up draft, no heads found. He's still there. Eventually the Cosmic Divide is here. Here's the showstopper! Puts it away! Shot, I don't know what happened there, but Jing does not get value from it when he saw 2 of the targets.
Got to be a missed input or something, right?
Yeah, it's surely. I mean, that's brutal. Should have been winning that fight out. And speaking of such, main still locked down. Not taking out Divide. CGRS feeling like he has to make a play in a moment there, pushing forwards to the angle that was being spammed into elbow. Beautiful flash into the corner. Mindfreak hopping away here, contained.
And EDG continue to find success with this unorthodox play style. One of the reasons why it looks so odd is that they're starting their A executes from so far away. You see other teams like to try and fight over a ramp control early on, so that if they decide to exec into the sites, they can do it from closer. They give less warning to the defending players over there. But on the positive side, unless you go and actually contest a ramp, you don't really know whether EDG are there or not. It's so quiet. Extremely contacty approach. But I mean, look at how little map control the attackers start with when you choose this strategy.
Yeah, it's like they've just drawn up lines in terms of where they seek to take the fights from, but nobody's willing to cross it.
We're 25 seconds into the round. They don't have A main, B main, or mid.
They're just passive.
It's very passive, and it works if PRX are going to peek into you. Maybe Forsaken will give them that. They must have spotted him there.
Wall up, there's a gap towards it. Forsaken, dash to disengage, straight to the wall.
Kankan getting a taste of his own medicine there, running into the operator.
Risky jiggle there from Mindfreak. Triggers out the pull. Repositions actually now as well towards the backside of B. But again, EDG defaulting into an A hit. Players grouping up. They were doing this all the time against Liquid.
Forsaken's already over here. Feels like he has a read.
Yeah, I mean, with mid pushed up this deep, they have to know that this is going out. Surely, Forsaken pushing forwards to the start at his feet. What time does he take? Dash forwards into the smoke updraft to escape the ire.
But he chooses to go in, not out.
Yep. There is going to be some of that pushback. Viper's Pit in his face. Flash over to the side. Howdong shuts down CGRS and Jing as they seek to enter. Still a shot lands. Dash is back online, but a spray through. Anticipating the re-swing and the re-peek. Divide on the flank now. You have to try and bring down the Pit to stand a chance. Might come down. Luck of the draw, but Howdong so consistent. There's Chichu falling. The Pit will go down as well. Aim adjusted, Divide. 18 bullets. Player weak enough. Howdong, a single shot should do it. Him versus Divide, and Divide on the cusp of greatness. Waiting it out, seeking the recross, yet takes the fight anyway. Beautiful stuff from Divide.
A 1v3 from a player who has been so clutch, so good in Pacific this season. Adds a Red Bull clutch onto it at a global tournament. Arguably, Divide has been one of the most impactful players in the Pacific run that they've had to collect a trophy in their region.
What the?
Don't ask.
Interesting.
One enemy remains.
What a play towards the end. That really should have been EDG's. Game plan worked perfectly. They were able to pop into the A site, catch Forsaken. It's all just based on Divide's heroics. But that's only the second round that PRX have been able to find. And the first was a pistol that they lost the follow-up for. So this is still dire straits. Now, having said that, the double duelist comp is mostly going to be powerful on the attack side. I think even if EDG get up to 11, I mean, I guess they can't. Even if EDG get up to 10 here, if it's a 10-2 half, I don't think anyone can call it after what we saw on Fracture.
Yeah, I mean, it's anyone's game really, isn't it? The amount of one-sided halves we've seen throughout this entire tournament, one-sided maps as well.
One-sided, yeah. I mean, PRX knows something about that. They've got 12-0'd on Lotus.
Yeah.
That's the third map. We've just got madness all the way through this series.
Here it is, tail end of the timeout here for PRX. I mean, the adjustments that they've made so far, though, they're trending in the right direction. Opting for Forsaken. Can't play it as aggressively, even though he has been taking a lot of these peaks and trying to anchor with the op. In theory, it should slow down the need for them to try and fight really hard. And with the way EDG are playing, they really do rely on PRX to make those aggressive plays.
Now I see your Forsaken op, and I'd like to raise you a Kang attacking raise op with a showstopper.
I think Kang might win.
We'll see. They're on opposite sides of the map at the moment here, but
well, Kang
he does get the first.
Yeah, he's winning somewhere, isn't he? Can always count on Kang.
Devi's gone for this push down mid many times so far.
Easily punishable if the timing is incorrect, but Orb starts to go down. B main control. Howdong is close to this left corner. Fight taken here. There's no trade really inside because it's an operator to Forsaken. He's worried about the reswing. Picks out the shorty. Maybe hoping to try and dash up onto the opposition, but it allows Howdong a chance to just escape out of there, and he's holding even further back, close to the corner. Once more, gambles incorrectly. The barrel sticking out. I think Howdong knows exactly what to expect, yet still. The shot lands. Kang, he's taking a little walkabout. A casual jaunt into mid.
Again, bizarre from EDG, having gone to play up, but it's 3v3, sorry. And EDG have gone for another exec into A, late round.
So Smoggy's using that smoke to cross into the site device, crosshair placement. That is perfect. Finds the first one. Jing is up in the air. There's no shot. He gets a kill, man.
30 seconds left.
Sailing right through. 25 seconds left. Smoggy, he's seeking a kill to try and turn the tide of it, but it's just not happening, man. PRX are playing with just another level of freedom. I mean, it's purely whimsy.
Yeah, I mean, EDG are going to take attack time out here, and I think they need to. They're getting punished for the way that they're playing. This walk. Okay, so let's start here. Howdong played this situation really nicely, but when Kang walks up mid like that, he doesn't have a distraction. He's doing that before the A hit even comes through. He can't use utility because he doesn't want to give away that he's there. So he's just walking up mid, hoping to catch a timing. That's not an effective way of generating value for your team as an attack side raise. It's just not going to work often enough. EDG look very one-dimensional right now, despite being in the lead. And I think that's concerning for a team that just let an 11-4 advantage slip through their hands.
Can't afford it again. Plenty of ults online to make the most of here. EDG feeling the heat, of course, that's why they take the timeout out, but they do have some big tools to work with. Cosmic Divide, Showstopper. Can formulate something here.
Certainly.
Fast A hits tend to be quite popular when you've got those combos.
They could also go fast mid. We've seen them run a play where they pull in mail and do a double blast back up mid. You know, they've got options there, but for PRX, if you don't see something quick and aggressive to start the round, you can just hold an off angle at mid and B main and start stacking A, right? Have they shown anything different? I don't think so.
Oh boy, look at the minimap. Gonna be walking right into Forsaken with the operator in his hand. It's critical that he finds an opening. Contact plays the start, recalled. At the beginning, all grouped up here. What is there going to be to play for it? Cosmic Divide cuts it through. Flash, anti, position gained and noted. Stunned up Forsaken, the updraft, everything expended to get out of line. He's going back in! Through the wall, you've got to be joking me! And the showstopper's there. In exchange for his life, Kang, he will receive one, and the spike has been dropped down in the middle of nowhere. Cosmic Divide on top of it. It's going to split the side up entirely. It's used off the back of it. And PRX, they have all the advantages here.
I mean, Kang just threw the spike into enemy territory, and now it's going to get pitted.
Yeah, this is essentially a lost round.
What a disaster for EDG.
The only way this gets salvaged is by luck of the draw. Some random spam. Bring down the pit, get a kill. The advantage of the pit is it does allow them to contact it a little bit now and take better timing. Shots fired.
It did land.
Might have to be a 3-2-1 push through into the pit at the same time. Chu from the high ground. Snake bite at the choke. Pushes back one of the angles, one of the fights. Jing so close to the wall, dropping down, and yep, it is that luck of the draw. The random spam, the spray through. Device still alive though, and that means the pit is up. It's contained a tap onto that spike. Forcing out the positioning, Shorty to bait it out with the swing. Finally the pit goes down, it's opened this up entirely towards the back of the site. Mindfreak is crispy, lands that shot, knows what it lasts, but the reposition's there. Smoggy with the dash, and such a wide face is granted with a round win.
Immaculate play by Smoggy, absolutely immaculate. He taps the spike to bait the push out of Devi, and then punishes immediately. This, by the way, after taking out Forsaken, who went in for just a bit too more. But look at this. He taps the spike to bait Devi in, and then dashes away, re-swings onto Mindfreak and hits the shot. What a step up when his team needed it. What an incredible play.
Another heavy group up, one away from the Blade Storm. The Orpy into goal, but Trailblazer broken. There's no punish in sight. They've given Forsaken easy access to it, so he's got the knives online.
Here.
Everyone on EDG grouped up towards A here. Once more, these are the kind of setups that they were doing. And Devi's taken all of mid control.
Updraft, flash, over the top as well. Enemy AC-130 seeking for the target. Not going to be getting it. Has to dash away and disengage it. Again, there's a refresher onto the knives and a fight. It's running and gunning. It's pure spray downs occurring. Straight towards ramp already. Heaven control has been given up.
Look at Devi. He already pushed out mid in the beginning of the round, and now he's already here.
Deep pushes on deep pushes. Devi got the backside of the angle. They've given up heaven control. They've got them exactly where they want them. He spots it out, and there's the first. Will he get a second? He will indeed. Wider with the face still. It's up to Smoggy. Chance to capitalize, and still double-faced with the Stingers. They make light work of them. Thrifty win for PRX. And off the back of that, I mean, they just gave them so much space.
You won't see many teams play an anti-eco round by 5 stacking over towards A and not pushing quickly. I really don't know what's going through EDG's head when they make game plans like this, but PRX perfectly countering it. I mean, the space that Devi took in the round was instantaneous. And I know that EDG are still ahead, but they've also lost the last 3 out of the 4 rounds that they've played. And it looks like PRX have the read on how to punish this.
No info off the flash. Long ends up dodging it. This could pay dividends big time. Works himself up onto a closer angle. Forsaken. He's just aiming up close here to reposition as well. Yep, there it is. Not expecting a Howdong was already pushed up, but it is answered back as well from that attempt to take a bit of heaven control.
Where's CGRS going?
What are you doing here?
You have Trailblazer, man.
Trailblazer up close. Oh, he doesn't expect it. This player's right in front of him. They're stunned up with the Stingers. They still claim the kill. Jing, he's going to be pushing, taking a timing of his own. Smoke up. Mindfreak, he needs help right here, and he needs it now. A bit of backup wouldn't go amiss. Where is his team? Close to the corner. Nobody. He's finding that one. Still Mindfreak dodging, juking. Util sent flying. Another Trailblazer being used, and another flank attempt. It's an absolute nightmare for the observers to be catching most of this one because there is action all over the bloody map. Snakebite denying that one plan. Will not get off in time. It's a 1v2 to fight. Surely not to do it again. Finds the first, and Chichu's low enough that, again, it's a single bullet that will make its mark and win the round out.
30 seconds left.
Buys the time once more. Spike in the hands of Chichu. He knows that pressure is on them. The spike has not been planted, and it's beautiful movement. The slight jiggle from Chichu sets him up for the gun duel. Was favoured there, so.
Nerves and pressure, Brent. Nerves and pressure. That, to me, is the big story of this game so far, because both teams playing their anti-eco rounds dreadfully. CGRS, though, I think you can give more leeway to, because he's not got a large tenure as a professional player and a lot of experience in big moments like this. But that play with the Trailblazer just opened the door for EDG after they were already set up nicely with the kill on the offer.
Hello, PRX. Oh, welcome to the party. It's Jing, the showstopper, immediately getting a kill. There's the reward. Seeking to answer back, it's Kang. No one's watching the smoke. Kang's just able to walk up onto it. So 4 versus 4, smoke's fading away. At the choke point, Devi thinks there might be something more towards this, so why it was utilized to try and push them back. Out in the open, nobody's just swinging wide. There was nothing to try and block that gap as well. This entire game is devolving into chaos.
So many mistakes on either side. EDG are really struggling to slow the pace down, but Shishu just manages to squeak his way out. And nobody getting caught there because Shishu hadn't activated his Viper Wall. It feels like exactly what the coach was talking about, getting drawn into that frantic pace. But right now, Howdong's found himself, sniffed himself out an opening. Does he call for the rotate, or is he trying to drag players over?
At this point, I mean, mate, there's 37 seconds left.
They could get to A.
If they really run.
I think that's what Howdong's telling them to do.
30 seconds
Going
left.
through sewers seems like a
Yeah, I know.
really risky decision for Kankan to be making.
I'm really confused. I mean, Kang is going to be potentially playing as a late lurk while this comes through.
A
Howdong
late
does
lurk
not have
in a
backside.
3v4?
Yeah, Howdong does not have backside control.
Things are getting messy over here.
Yeah, it's
and
falling to
PRX
pieces.
is capitalizing.
10
It's
seconds left.
crazy, Brent. It really is. Because we're talking about this like EDG are fumbling the bag right now. They're still going to be up 6-5, but it's because they won those 4 rounds in a row early on. You know, taking away the advantage of the pistol, winning that thrifty round 2 and converting it into some momentum. Apart from that,
Last round before the
they've
switch.
looked shook. Apart from those 4 rounds, from round 2 to round 5, the game plan has just been a bit of a disaster for them. I suppose they won a thrifty in the midst of all of that too. But, my word, whoever comes out of this match will have scars.
Yeah, scrapes and bruises. I think what's on the line as well is PRX trying to drag it even here. Final round of this first half, the last chance for Pacific as well. The last representatives available, and they're not even up to full strength. Here's a Cosmic Divide though. Flashes, sent flying. Birds careening, Trailblazer leading the charge as well, carving up a portion of it. Here's an updraft. Now finally the dash.
Does he check
Sancho,
Jing?
he's super boosted up in the air, man. Smoggy, he finds his 2. Jing also answered though initially. It's a 3v3, another dash online. Judge in his hand.
Spike planted.
Plan for a safe default position. They don't have control of any other area of the map. They're all playing towards the back of the site here. That's quite poor for EDG. They're going to have to make a play, I think, to try and offset that. Smoked across. Trailblazer clears through. Still worried about a potential of that late lurk as well, but now you start to see it. The time to strike is nigh. PRX. Flash round the side. CGRS with no more util available. That's a Judge up close, though, and he's handed over a gun, I believe. Straight transfer, CGRS pulling out miracles for them. And he's dragged it even, 6-6. This guy, not much of a tenure as a pro player, Josh. Bit of a Gecko one trick, some might say, on top of it, but God, he stepped up in that moment right there.
He'll be so happy about that performance. Ridiculous situation to find himself in. So both CGRS and Divide managing to win essentially 1v3s, although a bit of a distraction play there from Forsaken. He looks like he can't believe what he's done.
Insane stuff, 6-6.
What a half.
Evened out as well. Being gifted as well. I mean, this is an absolute brawl. Let's send it down to the desk to break it down so far.
Thank you very much, you two. I am having the greatest time. That was such a fun half. And Clint, you turned to me, you made a comment saying, I don't know how EDG is supposed to know where PRX are. I don't even think PRX know where they are. I think a lot of that, we still summed it up.
They're just all over the place, but in like the most classic PRX way, where it's just kind of, you know, you're playing kind of those angles and those, you know, that insane amount of time they put into ranked games is paying off right now because of all the craziness and the wackiness. And then Divide here. I was saying it before the match that I needed to see him be that clutch guy, that guy who came through for the team so many times during Pacific regular season, and now he's back, and I was so happy.
I'm not gonna lie, my EMEA brain was struggling a little bit here. We were looking at the players on stage and the reactions that they were having. Nothing made sense, and I was literally just looking out, being like, okay, so this one, oh, this happened, no, this happened, oh, people are dying here and here.
I mean, I think the major difference is EDG, a lot of those rounds, they looked a little bit stressed. They looked like they were under pressure, but Kakuka, PRX were just like this consistently every round.
Yeah, exactly. And now moving on to the next half is something that they definitely need to do. I don't know how we managed to get into a 6-6 scenario at the halftime, but against DRX, they only dropped 3 rounds from their attack. If they manage to pull this performance, this can be a 2-0.
I just want to point out real quick that round they showed at the end that Divide was laughing on was the anti-eco they lost, round 2. So that just shows you PRX's mentality.
Nothing
right
makes
now.
sense
They're just
anymore.
so happy.
Yeah, nothing makes sense, but I can't wait to watch more. Honestly, I hope we get a map 3 because Saisho and Brent, this is the most fun I've had in a while. I don't know about you guys.
It's certainly living up to our expectations. I mean, 2 teams just taking chunks out of each other, man. I mean, it's a brawl on either side. And it really does get showcased as well in that round score. That's 6-6.
I've got to echo the sentiment. I'd love this to go to map 3, but that is all in these players' hands. I feel like the pressure really is on EDG. And I would agree with you, Intu. They do look a little stressed in terms of how they play, and potentially how they are on the stage too.
There's a dog like claim to an area of the map here towards Heaven. Already a dash forwards. That's a stun caught into the side. Smoggy, smoke to dissipate as well to try and evade capture, but no, it's Forsaken once more. 2 kills for him in the round. Exchange the weaponry, pick up a gun, a bit of an upgrade for CGRS and an attempt to punish through the smoke. Jing just pushing right into their spawn. I mean, listen, it's boundless. The level of energy that PRX have got coming into this game, not a care in the world. They want to go for it again. Fully healed up. CGRS right behind him, and yep, one way to build themselves up.
So now you've just got to make sure that you actually convert after you win the pistol, all right? Because that started a piece of momentum for EDG that made the first half very dangerous. But this team looks so loose in a good way with how they're playing. They're cooking up the little micro plays, even with CGRS in there, and Forsaken stepping up massively on the pistol round. Talked about that being a win condition prior.
Here.
And Kankan's gone missing a little. He will have to wake up for EDG to be able to pull through. He's got to be Mr. Consistent, as he usually is.
4 players stacked up. Will PRX slow it down? Not likely. They're on their way in. Potential. There was always danger in it, but Forsaken. Oh, he cleans it up. Teammates at his back. Following up with a crossfire. Exchange of it as well, having a foresight to build up the ultimates.
So now Forsaken just needs one more or a death, and he's got his Blade Storm online for potentially an all-important bonus round. These kind of situations must feel so rough for the EDG players, for Kankan.
No gaps in the play.
They've just let a massive lead fall away from them on Fracture, and now they're struggling to keep pace in the second map. They'll have been hoping that they never even got to this point, obviously, where they're a map down. But even so, as Yansu was talking about earlier, EDG, they haven't lost on Split since 2021. I mean, they have just been superb on this map when they've played it. Not that they have much recently. And the pressure is really on them right now, which is a bizarre thing to say, because coming into this tournament, there were no expectations for this squad.
No, it was quite freeing in terms of the play of EDG.
And a technical pause just to turn the heat up a little more. Give them some time to think and stew.
Let them simmer on the stage. All right, though. I mean, you could argue as well, this is one of the only circumstances we found ourselves in Masters Tokyo where Edward Gaming, EDG, are going up against a team, and you might say that they're the favorites going up against them. I mean, PRX playing with a sub here. Expectations, they're off this team, you know? I mean, PRX would love to be this stalwart defender, the last bastion for Pacific, and make a deep run of it, but they're playing like they've got no illusions of the circumstances they're in. They know their roster's not up to full strength, and they're just throwing anything to the wall, but it's working.
And to me, one of the biggest players that you have to give credit to, I think, you know, there's obvious names like Jing, who's been probably their most impactful player at this event. But I'm looking at Forsaken most of the time, because I think he's the real X factor as to whether or not PRX have major pop-off performances. He's been forced to go back to the duelist, and it's a role that he's said he finds himself a little brain dead when he plays it sometimes. He finds it difficult to use his brain whilst also playing duelist. He just goes into autopilot, and he runs around the map and ends up dying. And that's been part of the shift that Forsaken's really enjoyed recently, is picking up more of a flex role and calling a little more too. Well, back on the duelist, there are just so many rounds here where Forsaken is turning the tide for his team. We saw it on Fracture with his Neon, and now we're seeing it again here playing Jet.
It's all coming together for this team. Just getting a sneak peek as well over towards the stage. I was like, who's having these problems then as well? I saw one of the players restarting their client. So hopefully going to be getting back into the action momentarily.
I'm going to be loading back in here, and just to set the scene, this is the bonus round for PRX. They won the pistol. They made sure that it didn't drop away from them. And now they're heading in here with Forsaken's Blade Storm active. So there's definitely opportunities for PRX to be able to convert on this one. It's more dangerous than it might first appear.
All from those ult orbs that were earned prior. Waited out towards the beginning. Couple of seconds. Let the round settle a little bit before you rush into anything, but they've already grouped up towards B main. There's going to be a flash and a dash play. It's active. There it is, forwards. Disrespect being showcased, but, well, with the updraft pathing, Haodong, he knows where to spray it forwards. He's pushed all the way up deep as well, looking for the counter spam. He's got his team to hold it down. Alongside him with the rifle spam.
Haodong bloomed a flash there that caught the smoke, and then backed up and anticipated Forsaken's pathing perfectly.
Left to salvage the roundup, but unaware of really the positioning. Kang, he's turning up.
That is going to get the confidence flowing.
We've been talking about how important that was. Kang being that big game player for them.
Every game player for them.
Exactly. And we've got to see the signs of life. And that confidence back so damn important. Here he is. Wants to find the kill onto Mindfreak. Well, denied. Crouch peek though at the off angle. Smoggy seeking to collect. So, bonus round was denied. Gives a chance for EDG to now maybe start to get something more going for them.
Another point though, as to Kang's confidence levels, it's not just about how he's feeling, but also the economy state. Because like I was talking about earlier, they op about 46% of the time on defense in Kang. That's a huge amount, almost half the rounds. That's like between 5 and 6 rounds average on defense. Unless they can get the economy grown here, they're not even going to get chances to do that.
HyperX again going for a satchel play. It's cute, straight up towards ramp. With a pull on top of it, stuns as well. Nade using the counteract. All that aggression. Lovely punish from EDG.
Very good. Bucket loads of defensive utility there to stop HyperX from taking a ramp control. And that's the 2 heads of the snake chopped straight off. I was going to say double-tipped spear, but I'm not really sure what that would be. I was trying to visualize the weapon that don't know, that doesn't make too sense
at some point in
It's like a pitchfork, though, isn't it? That doesn't strike too much fear into people coming at them with a pitchfork. It would me.
If you know your French history, Josh, you might not be saying that, but...
I mean, if the French were coming at me with pitchforks, I'd know I'd done something wrong.
What era are we talking about here? I'm not going to get into a history lesson. I'm making a fool of myself.
This is a tough round for HyperX to try and turn. Usually it's Forsaken and Jing that are the playmakers in these kind of situations.
Yeah, it's just contact plays, hoping that somebody will open themselves up for an easy kill. Kang in mid, grouped up. There is that lurk timing here from Mindfreak, so he's evaded that sight line, and well, he has gotten past Kang. Does he seek to clear it? No.
Wow.
Mindfreak,
but there's only 15 seconds.
Yeah, do they really still want to make a play here? I think they need a pick to do anything. This is just...
What a weird safe position.
It's absurd, isn't it? Yeah, I mean... Okay, cleared hard. Oh, hoping to take the rifle out from Devi. Up, down, up, down.
That's not going to make too much of a difference, though. Kang dying there, to me, I think that's even more incentive for him to just pick up an operator that one of his teammates drops. They've definitely got the potential for that if they want to go for it. See what they go with. It would be a little strange, obviously, to have your Raze op on defense, but it's Kang. Although it doesn't look like it for the moment. He's happy to just sit on the rifle. He's got the showstopper to play around here, too. And of course, with EDG, something we haven't mentioned that's really different on their defense side, they have Chishu hard anchor A, which is not how Vipers usually play these setups. The Viper's normally in mid.
Open himself up, though. There's an aim duel that Kang is happy to take. He's already found the first one. Dog stun connecting. Forsaken, they are trying to leap right onto him. Ults offloaded, rocket to the side. Body splattered against the wall. EDG, they found the footing. The confidence is back in spades.
And the disrespect, too, to follow. This is what you gotta see for EDG to win. They need Kang to be putting up performances.
High ground position. That is just fantastic. Precision.
Flawless, you might say.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff. And now, getting back that lead. It was looking quite dire. We think back as well to that first half, the way that ended up actually spiraling out of control, and they lost that heavy, heavy lead that EDG were able to get. This is an important beginning.
Definitely is.
Don't falter after losing the pistol round. They have rallied all the way back here, so finding a lead, forcing PRX into a timeout.
And so far, PRX fighting over A ramp control is not working. EDG are just playing tucked behind their Viper wall and then popping back out into them. So PRX need to find a different area of the map. If they want to take a piece of map control early on, which is what both of these teams are going to be fighting over, then they need to pick a specific spot that they think they can have an advantage in. For me, Brand, that would be mid. I know that Kankan just took the fight there and was able to win it in a prior round, or in that round, in fact. But that would be my area to go towards if I'm PRX, because Chishu's not putting the orb there, Haodong's not got a star there. At worst, you're taking straight up aim duels. And at best, there's not really going to be too much resistance.
Will they divert their attention over towards that particular area of the map? I mean, as you said, Josh, you know, it seems kind of obvious to us. We're seeing the big global picture.
For
what's
sure.
been occurring, but for now, Spike trending back towards A. They split up towards the map here. No real semblance towards mid. Flash connects. Bit of information gathered. Looks like a bit of early utility as well pumped into B to try and force rotations and an immediate, fast wraparound to regroup over towards A.
With how fast PRX usually are on their execs, they're a really quick team. EDG are pretty confident that utility means they're going B. And this is where PRX look really nice, changing the pace up. They'll throw fast round after fast round and then hit you with this, a bit of a bait.
Yeah, slower beginning. Dog forwards, baits out that nade. Kankan repositions close to the choke point. Flash does not connect. They want to take up control of A Heaven. Bit of a lurk. Smoke's eventually fading, so clears it up for them to try and get themselves into these positions. They've all crossed, but there is awareness for EDG. You can see that in the way that Haodong's playing his positioning. Tucked at a very slight off angle. He's seeking to, again, contain his aggression. He's aware of it, and he's isolated 2 of the fights, make it 3! This IGL for EDG has been absolutely phenomenal. In terms of the reads, his individual play, the sole difference maker in so many rounds.
It's like a weaponry graveyard over there, isn't it? With the spike on top to boot. You're so right. Haodong's got a great understanding of where PRX like to push around the map. He's not even holding the main angle there on the door. He's holding an off angle for if they decide to go A Heaven to B, which, how many teams in the world do that? PRX are about, I don't know, one of a handful, a very small handful of teams. But PRX do actually try those kind of plays fairly often. And here's where you see the advantage of holding off angles against a team that likes to contact. You know, you don't always have to just pick up an operator to punish contacting teams. You can hold these off angles where they're just going to be unable to check it or clear it with utility properly. You're not going to get punished as much. So that knocks down the economy onto a bit of a half buy, though there's still 2 rifles here. CGRS and Divide could be difficult.
No players in sight from the deep flash. Here's a boombot. It is the half buy. I feel like still that danger with PRX. Stun. Here's a dash on top of the box. Nobody spamming. Position is forced. Here's a stinger fight. Won it out, but spam through the new box. Easy enough. Angle. Nobody. It's granted and gifted it. Still, it's come down to a 2 versus 2. In the midst of all of that, Divide with a late lurk through B main, I believe. Here's a Cosmic Divide also online. This is going to make it quite difficult to get through now if you are EDG, but the spike's still not planted.
Kankan's looking for a lurk in mid here. Thought he was going to use the nade to try and deny something like that from happening. They could have heard the plant going down.
Giving them easy access to Heaven, dropping down. It's a high-low. She's just holding that util snake bite. Careening across, knows it, isolates it. There's a fight there from Kankan, wide swing, but Chishu brings down his opposition. It's left to the 1v1. Mind Freak. There's no swing in sight. Time running so damn low here. Chishu just chooses to contact all the way round. It's PRX who seal it up with Mind Freak at the forefront of all of it.
Another thrifty in this series. So many of them scattered throughout the match. And there's one that completely halts the bad string of rounds that PRX were allowing rather to get against them. PRX managing to combo a play there. Just a very simple B split where Forsaken's bait and they just get in hyper aggressively.
There's an op online though. Kang seeking to offset the balance as well from that round that was just gained up close. Double satchel, cuts his way across, he's not allowed a clean fight. Spam to try and cover. And Kang did reposition the satchel movement in mid, that's being explored, and Divide, he's taken out early. EDG, what a thing to throw into the mix, but well, Kang just opened himself up a little bit too wide there, onto the heaven angle. Forsaken gets in, and now there's a rocket in his hands, laid down. And that cover and fire, explosives towards elbow, fight taken up close again. It's being traded out still, it's all up to nobody, and he's been swung right into. 1 versus 1. CGRS versus nobody. 6 bullets. Reload up top. Dog still available. This reposition is everything. CGRS. No way, man. No way at all. Another tap. Baits it. Yep. That's it. Nobody. That is sublime.
How has he got the read on that? That is such an intelligent play there. He's just shooting 1 bullet at a time to try and bait the fact that he's dropped out through heaven. So from CGRS's point of view, that completely sells it. Nobody is such a swingy player. He plays alone a lot, he plays to take hard fights often, and he will deliver magic occasionally. That round looked like it was gonna spiral out of control, completely out of their hands. We've been treated to some heroics in this match.
EDG not willing to let the Cinderella story slip away. How far can they take it? Well, for now, setting the sight lines on closing out this map and bringing it to map number 3, but it's Forsaken again with the knives. Don't want to count this guy out. Again, it's such a similar play from PRX. The dog leading the charge, clearing all these corners. Smoke as well. Smoky wants to take the timing out of it. He was eager, potentially there to try and take that fight, but right out in the open, CGRS was just holding out the util towards the back. Howdong in and out of the smoke. Smoky still alive here. Spike was dropped down, claims the kill on the rope. It's all up to Mind Freak. In a 1v4, Kang with the op, of course he's on it. On point. And now, Josh, we find ourselves at a precipice again. This time EDG to take away map number 2. 1 more round, that's all they need.
Here's Smoggy finding that time in the big gap in the spacing between CGRS and the duelists. And they just trusted the smoke a little too much. Smoggy making the huge play up at the top of the scoreboard, really the difference maker for EDG, buying time for Kang to come back online. You're right, EDG are only 1 step away, 1 round from being able to drag us to Lotus. And yet, I still feel like PRX might be able to grab 3 in a row here. We've seen so many times these teams go on mad streaks, including obviously the 7 rounds in a row or whatever it was on Fracture. 8 rounds in a row even.
Mantle of responsibility is going to be settling on Kang's shoulders. He's the sole player on this A site. With the smoke up, he thinks that the player could have crossed up into heaven. Trailblazer around the back, clears through most of it. Satchel taking up ramp, updraft, dash play. All over the place, Kang. It's not certain as to where these players may have landed, because that's up top into heaven as well. It's again an attempt to converge and collide themselves into it. A jump spot to bait out these shots, dropping down as well. They need to punish Kang. Is swinging wide into him, layering it down. These shots, Chichu with the rifle still sprays it through. We ran out of bullets in the end, enough to claim 2 of these kills. Knives backs away. Smoggy, he's low, 35 health. The Viper's Pit is there in their hands. It could still be winnable, but no, taken out. The pit falls. Mind Freak left to do the most, and he cannot do it. 13-9 will be that scoreline. EDG bringing it all the way to map number 3.
Kang looks a little bit stressed at that one, but the map much more under their control once they burnt away a bit of a lead in the second half. We're going map 3, and I think that's what this match deserves. It's been such a clash. Powerful players, confident to take duels and 1v1s. Mad ideas.
Oh yeah. Would not have had it any other way, man. Would not have had it any other way. PRX is a final stand, the last bastion for the Pacific region overall, the last representatives. EDG still trying to carry that all the way for China. For themselves, of course, as well, just to see how far they can take it. What are they capable of? Well, I'm number 3. What we've got to look forward to. Lotus as the map.
Yeah, incredibly interesting final map to end things on. Both of these teams actually used to play the same compositions. I don't know whether we're going to see that with CGRS in the lineup. Moving over potentially to Gecko. But I'm just soaking it in. I'm soaking in the awesome plays that we saw there on Split. Ridiculous moments.
Massive, massive plays all around from either side here, but it is EDG who bring it to that map number 3. We're going the distance in this series here, an elimination game. We would not have it any other way. Stick around. You know you're not going to want to miss it.